This podcast is brought to you by absolutely no one. We have no sponsors and no one cares. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Movie Mates podcast. I'm Matthew with my wonderful co-host
Callum.
we're back with another episode, and we'd like to preface this by saying we're very sick.
We're both very sick, yes.
Yeah, we've got the colds, so please excuse any sniffling and coughing. We'll try our best to edit that out. Hey, Callum, would you like to give us an intro on what we're going to be discussing today?
So today is episode 5, I believe.
Yep.
We're not exactly filming these in order. So today we're talking X-Men.
Yep.
Original series and beginning trilogy.
Yep.
Beginnings and original trilogy.
Yeah,
They both have weird names.
Past. Apocalypse is like prequels, I guess.
Yeah, the prequel trilogy. Yeah. So what does X-Men mean to you? Do you like the X-Men?
X-Men, yeah, sort of the MC and the Dark Knight trilogy and the X-Men universe are sort of the first, superhero films I grew up with. Especially, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. We'll discuss him in a future episode. Actually, no, we would have already discussed this, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wolverine trilogy is episode 4.
Episode 4. This is episode
5.
Yeah. So yeah, X-Men means a lot to me. Love the characters, love the casting. Obviously brought us Patrick Stewart as Professor X, and Ian McKellen as Magneto. Inspired and superb casting. One thing I do like about the X-Men films is the way the direction, you can tell like it means a lot to them. Obviously Matthew Vaughn with X-Men First Class, it's one of my favourite films. We'll get into that later. Bryan Singer, I think his hit or miss sometimes, but you can definitely tell a Bryan Singer film when you watch it, which I like. And obviously the score
is that always a good thing?
Probably no, not really.
We'll get to
in most X-Men films, like they have a nice charm to them, which we'll get into as well. What do X-Men films mean to you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean they mean less to me than they clearly mean to you. I've never really liked them as a whole. We'll get into them individually, but I was a big fan of the animated series.
Yeah, which is great.
No.
Okay, we'll stop there. Oh yeah.
You were a fan, I'm sure.
Of course. You really like Rogue in that animated series?
No.
Do you not?
No.
You told me they really liked Rogue in that animated series.
I really liked Rogue.
I don't know who it was.
Well, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me. Okay.
I didn't watch it, but like as often as I watched Spider-Man.
Oh, I love Spider-Man.
I mean, we were born in the 2000s, but really we were children of the 90s.
Yeah, because a lot of the TV shows we watched were from late 90s, I suppose.
Yeah.
And early 2000s. So yeah, X-Men films, mean a lot to us. Well, anyway, but would you like to take us away with X-Men 1, which was 1990? Was it 1999 or 2000?
It was 99.
99. Okay, well, take us away.
Right?
With that.
I think so.
We'll go with it.
Well, yeah, let's just jump in. Do you want to talk about Wolverine?
Yeah, Wolverine in that obviously introduced Hugh Jackman. He was a fairly unknown actor at that. Sorry, Calum just posed in the Burt Reynolds position right in front of me. This is gonna be a great podcast. I can just smell it. Anyway,
again, like we're recording this in my house, so it's a big downgrade from Matthew's grandparents' kitchen.
It's not a downgrade. It's very intimate in here.
It is.
Don't get any ideas though. So anyway, yeah, obviously Hugh Jackman, fairly unknown actor at the time of his casting, but I think he's fantastic. There are a few elements of the character that I just laugh at, like in the sort of the bar scene where like every time he punches someone, there's like a metal clang. So,
I like that.
And also strangely, it's weird to see Hugh Jackman I'm not like obviously. Hugh Jackman is a specimen of a human being in his prime, but it's weird to say I'm not as
No, it was because he wasn't cast until really late. Doug Scott was originally cast as Wolverine.
Oh really?
So Hugh Jackman only had a few weeks to get in shape, so they filmed all of his other scenes first, and the cage fight scene was the last scene filmed, so he could get like as jacked as possible.
He's still Hugh Jacked, man.
I don't agree. He's a little on the pudgy side.
Anyway, Patrick Stewart obviously is Professor X. Yeah. One of the best superhero castings ever, in my opinion. Really does the character justice and fantastic in the role. Similarly with Ian McKellen as Magneto, who had previously made a name for himself in Lord of the Rings, or was that after?
I believe Lord of the Rings was after, but he was a very well known dramatic actor on stage. He did a lot of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Which like you can see the inspiration for that
Oh, yeah,
in the
definitely.
character Magneto.
Yeah. Obviously we've got other actors like James Marsden as Cyclops, who debatable.
Stay away from my girl. He's the worst. He's so
And
awful.
obviously we've got Halle Berry as Storm. You know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning?
The same thing that happens to everything else.
Stay away from my girl. What is that?
Do you not remember that scene?
No.
When like Wolverine's like eyeing up Jean,
Right.
and then Cyclops just rolls in. He's like a jealous little bitch. But
We've got obviously Famke Janssen as Jean Grey, who's I think is pretty good.
I
Not
don't.
really.
She is so dull.
She is dull, yeah.
Like I don't think she can act very well. She's not emotive or expressive in my
I
opinion.
suppose, but Jean Grey, like I don't. This is gonna sound pretty brutal, but she was never my favorite member of the X-Men. Like,
Oh, no, me
she's
neither.
probably my least favorite, if I'm honest.
Yeah, she's kind of null and void because you already have Professor X and he's a far more interesting telepath. So
Yeah,
she's
definitely.
she's kind of redundant.
Then we've got, I think, one of the worst performances in the X-Men franchise, which is Anna Paquin as Rogue.
I would say Paquin, but
Paquin
yeah,
as
yes,
Rose.
yeah. Like I write loose notes for every episode, and in mine, in my notes, I've just written Rogue dash terrible character question mark.
Yeah.
Why is she the main character?
Yeah, this is
Because somehow she is the worst character and she is the worst actress in the film. But
like the fight on the Statue of Liberty is, I quite like it. It's got a nice charm. To
like
it.
for
It's
the
fine.
time, the action is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because like, we can't scrutinize it in comparison to modern day because that's not fair to it really.
No.
But should we talk about Magneto's terrible plan?
Okay.
Because, okay, his plan is to turn all the humans that are attending this meeting near the Statue of
Including
Liberty
Senator Kelly.
into mutants, and he has to use Rogue's power because he's too old and can't power the machine himself. So the whole film revolves around him kidnapping Rogue.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a weird scene. Obviously, this is quite infamous at this point, but like Senator Kelly gets what he thinks is a mutant, but then becomes like a watery blob or something.
Yeah,
That's great.
Squeezes through the bars of his
Yeah.
prison cell.
Uh,
Costumes?
Costumes, I think if they at the time, like if they would have went for the X-Men the animated series look and even the comic look, they would have got a really severe backlash because I think people would have viewed it as sort of really cringy. I think, but then
I think at the time, yeah,
But
but
now
I think if they had done it back then, people would have so much more respect for those films.
yeah.
Because now people just say, "Oh, why did they shy away?" Because now, you know, the MCU is embracing like colorful costumes.
They actually even did it in Apocalypse, which
yeah,
I love.
we'll get onto those.
Yeah, I think the best character in the film, probably the best casting of a villain in this franchise is probably Rebecca Romijn Mystique.
Oh, she's great. Yeah.
She's really good. Does all the stunts herself. Does all the choreography herself.
Yeah.
Fantastic casting. Great performance. And any favorite scenes or funniest scenes from the movie for you?
Yes, my favorite scene is when Wolverine first meets Professor X and says, "What did they call you? Wheels?"
Yeah,
that is my favorite line in all of X-Men. How about you?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
one.
that's probably that one.
Also, there is a scene where Toad squashes a man. Like he jumps on his shoulders and like obliterates him.
Is there a weird scene in like the end battle where like Toad does like some sort of ballerina dance or something?
Not that I remember.
I'm just bringing up the Google casting here. Like there are this isn't probably that funny, but there are quite some hilarious sort of characters. So there is a man called Kevin Rushton who plays a man called Stu, and apparently
What was that funny?
I don't know, and then there's another guy called Carson Manning who plays Waterboy. I don't know who that is. And there's another guy called Scott Leva who plays Waterboy too. I don't know what that is. But anyway.
I assume those are like people at the beach when Senator Kelly rolls on.
Yeah, he rolls in and he
Rolls
just...
in, yeah.
Yeah, favourite scene in the film for me is either
Wheels.
Wheels or... I quite like the Statue of Liberty battle, like it's got a nice charm to it. I think it's good.
Do you know what I'm talking about when I say like when Wolverine like flips around one of the like
Sick.
spikes of her crown and like cuts it off? That's horrible.
Yeah, it's
It
not
looks
great.
terrible.
Also, Sabretooth doesn't look that good. I mean, he's quite comic accurate, but I just don't really like... He just looks like a bear. I know he's supposed to, but like...
Yeah.
But regardless, what would you give X-Men 1 a rating out of 10, Callum?
See, I find it very dull. I'd have to give it a 6.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7. Yeah, I think it's good, and it was obviously very important for superhero movies.
Yeah.
Next film in the franchise, X-Men 2, X-Men United.
Yeah, I have almost nothing to say about this film,
No,
if I'm
me
honest. Let's talk opening scene. Nightcrawler's assault on the White House. I think
Great.
that's excellent.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's actually one of my favorite film openings.
Yeah, that's great.
I think Alan Cummings is, an excellent casting for Nightcrawler.
Oh, yeah, he really is.
And the makeup's great.
Obviously, this film focuses more on Wolverine this time around with obviously Stryker and Weapon X and all that. Like Brian Cox plays Stryker, and he's so bad.
He is not good, is he?
He's no. Obviously, this film introduced. Did it introduce Iceman? Well, it gave him
No,
more to
Iceman
do.
was in the first film.
Well, it gives him more to do.
Yeah, you
and
see his family.
You see. Is it Pyro? And then
Yeah.
and then we obviously see I hate this is what I hate about this film, like the immense foreshadowing to the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh, Jean's
When-
gonna die.
Yeah, when she sacrifices herself at the end.
Why does anyone care?
Yeah, why does Cyclops care? Jean's so dull. Is she even a person? I just find this whole film like incomprehensibly boring.
It is really
It's
dull.
the dullest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's not great.
People call this their favorite X-Men film, and I just don't understand that.
No, it's not. I think it's an improvement in the first, but I think it's not very memorable.
No,
I
not
can't really
whatsoever.
remember anything bad or good about it, so I guess in that sense it's okay. Obviously, it focuses again on Rogue and other characters. We see Colossus played by Daniel Cudmore.
Oh, I like Colossus.
I like Colossus, I think, and then obviously my favorite scene probably in the film is the Lady Deathstrike Wolverine fight.
Really?
It's fine, but it's
that
probably
sums
the best
it up.
scene.
Like the best scene in the film is fine.
Oh,
You know,
well,
that-
actually,
that's
yeah,
not
probably
good.
the opening scene's probably my favorite scene. What about any particular comments in the film for you?
No, just so incredibly dull.
Yeah. Rating out of 10?
5.
5 out of 10. I'd give it a 7.5.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce The Last Stand?
Okay, I think I hate this movie more than anyone. This is my least favorite X-Men film. I think it's worse than Origins Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's so horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, what are your initial thoughts on it?
Don't you know who I am?
I'm the
I'm
Juggernaut,
Juggernaut, bitch.
It's
It's not great.
so terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the mutant cure's introduced and
Yeah.
other characters, like, it just seemed like they
Why
tried to...
wouldn't you want to take the cure?
Like-
Because there's so many people with like really terrible powers, and
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want the cure?
Yeah, there's like, yeah. I mean, obviously, it makes sense why Rogue would want it. I can't remember if Rogue gets it in the end, does she?
She does, but her powers come back.
But it's not. I think the idea of the cure is not permanent though, because Magneto gets his powers back at the end.
No, but
doesn't
it's meant to be permanent. That just seems like an error, so that they could
he?
just get Magneto's powers
This film gives some characters a lot more to do and some characters a lot less to do. James Marsden as Cyclops just
Gets
is
killed in the first 5 minutes.
obliterated.
back. Although that was because of scheduling conflicts. Cause,
Oh, was it?
he had to be in Superman Returns.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's he playing Superman Returns?
He played Lois Lane's new husband or something. But that was directed by Bryan Singer, and that's why he couldn't direct this film.
Okay.
That's why it's directed by The Rat.
Brett
Ratner?
Brett Ratner.
Yeah. What happened to Nightcrawler?
I don't know. It was really good.
I really like Nightcrawler. He was probably my favorite part of X2.
Yeah.
And he just disappears.
Yeah. Like alternatively, we get Ellen Page's Kitty Pryde. That gives her a lot more to do. I don't know if this is her debut.
It is, because Kitty Pryde was in the last 2 films, but like in the 3 films, they were played by 3 different actresses.
I think she's good. I think Kitty Pryde's really good in this film. Although one criticism I sorry, I've just seen Bill Duke as Bolivar Trask, and I'm just like, what is that?
I don't know.
like this film seems like it's trying to shoehorn in as many mutants as they can. We have like Multiple Man and Juggernaut and Callisto
Psylocke.
and Psylocke, and that's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any particular comments from you?
Well, my most important comment: what happened to Storm's accent?
Yeah.
She, like in the first film, she has a terrible but quite thick African accent, and then by this film, she's just American.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
I quite
happened.
like Halle Berry though. I think she's a good Storm.
Yeah.
Um.
What did you think of the Dark Phoenix? It's obviously a terrible adaptation of the character, but like,
Yeah,
what
the
did
only
you
thing
think
it
in the
seems to do
context of the
is
film?
make Famke Janssen really horny for Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Professor X just gets blown up.
Yeah.
That's great.
that's probably my favorite part of the film.
Yeah, because he just looks around and smiles.
Well, no, because I was just like, this film's terrible. I may as well enjoy it. You know,
Yeah.
it's awful.
Yeah, Magneto just sits there and like, oh, it's great.
Yeah,
Kelsey Grammer's Beast is amazing.
he is actually very good.
I
Yeah,
really like him in Cheers and Fraser.
you've seen those?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really good.
That surprised me.
Yeah, so we've got
I mean-
Leech, as I guess, as Leech is in this. He's the kid that they get the cure from, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
But not much to say in this film really from me. Anything from you?
Well, like, all the action's terrible except for the danger room and
Danger room's good.
I guess the Golden Gate Bridge scene's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
But aside from that, it's just like dark forests and
Yeah.
like they're all set at night and it's just people slapping each other.
Grow those back. For me, out of 10, I'd probably give it a 4. Like, it's not great. Brett Ratner ruined this franchise for years. Let's be honest. Like, it never really picked up since 2011.
Yeah,
From you,
I'd probably give it a 3.
3. Yeah.
Do you want to talk the end credit scene? Because it sets up, Charles's return
What's
at
that?
the end of the Wolverine.
Talk us to it again.
It's when, so Charles dies. He's blown up by the Dark Phoenix, but then he transfers his consciousness to his comatose twin brother. that is somehow also disabled, but he like just messed him up in utero.
It'd be absolutely cruel if he made him disabled or something just so he would fool people into thinking it's me.
He's just like trying to up his style. He's like, I look cooler in a wheelchair. I'll cripple myself.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to talk contrast between the two trilogies? So what do you think of this trilogy overall?
I think this trilogy's got a nice charm to it, very important for superhero movies. However, I think most of its charm has worn off, and that it's just people look back and I certainly look back on it now and think it's not as good as it used to be. There's a lot of weird, cringy scenes in it, but
Yeah.
I suppose it's reflective of the time because it was early 2000s. Like
Yeah.
superhero movies, especially, were still figuring themselves out. You know.
I mean, like, those were probably some of the first superhero films I ever watched,
Yeah.
and I loved them at the time, but now I just,
Oh,
I hate them so much.
Yeah. Do you want to take us into the prequel trilogy then?
Yeah, we'll jump straight in. So, First Class, released in 2011. One of my favorite directors,
Yeah.
Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah.
He is an excellent director. We'll hopefully talk Kick-Ass and Kingsman
yeah.
soon. This is without doubt my favorite of the X-Men series.
Yeah, definitely. It's
I
fantastic.
mean, regarding like casting and acting, it's excellent all around.
One of my favorite superhero movies ever made, really.
Yeah, same.
We've got James McAvoy as a young Professor X, amazing.
Yeah,
Equally, Michael Fassbender,
yes.
fantastic.
And again, in my loose notes, I have written Charles Eric Gay? Question mark?
They should retcon that.
Yeah.
Like, they should make them.
Have you seen all the fan art of just
Yeah.
them like,
Yeah.
baking and boning?
Am I editing that out?
No.
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 Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique obviously gets a lot to do, but I always find it strange in the modern movies, we'll say, that are set in modern day, where like they never bring up that they know
they're
each
siblings,
other,
yeah.
and that she had a weird crush on him at the start.
Oh, that's so weird. That like
Read to me.
the sexual tension.
Read to me about Neanderthals.
And then, like she accuses him of turning her into a pet because he only wanted her to be naked as a child. It's such a weird. It's such a weird dynamic. That, why do you want to prance around his house naked?
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever seen those like memes where it's like, no, you were the one who told me about
No,
this.
I have seen a
memes
lot
like,
of
I
these.
want to see the real Raven, and then it's like,
Yeah, there's tons of those.
Oh,
It's
great.
excellent.
Kevin Bacon as Sebastian Shaw, really good, really hilarious in this film, I think.
See, he's a good actor, but the character is terrible.
Yeah, it's like so you know the bit where like he just like blows up Colonel Henry. It's great. He also like brutally shoots Magneto's mum.
Yeah, that like those flashback
are really
scenes
good.
they're really good and they're
Fantastic.
really brutal.
Go ahead.
You know,
No, I was gonna say January Jones as Emma Frost is good.
do you like her?
I mean, she's just there for eye candy for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I've written about, like, the weird amount of partial nudity.
Yeah,
Because, like, it's like every other scene, someone's in a bikini.
yeah, like, look, I think one of the weirdest scenes ever is like Rose Byrne has to like go into a strip club.
Yeah.
Or something for like.
But she just happens to be wearing sexy lingerie underneath her work uniform.
Matthew Vaughn. What
Matthew Vaughn. Yeah, I think he just likes women.
Yeah. You can blame him.
Yeah.
Jason Fleming is his Hazel. Not much to say about him. He's pretty good. A very famous British actor actually in TV.
Is he?
Yeah, he was in. I don't know if you ever watched Primeval. No.
I do not.
He was in that. Zoe Kravitz is Angel. Not much to do, but equally pretty good.
No, were you surprised by her betrayal of the team?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. Like I watched that.
Yeah.
Like that came out when I was 9 or 10,
Yeah.
like a movie. So I was very surprised by that.
that again ties into the weird amount of partial nudity. The recruitment scene.
Yeah.
You know, where they go around fetching all of them.
Yeah.
And
Really like
Wolverine is my favorite.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, Havoc and Banshee, pretty good. The guy, one
like
character
both
I
of
really
them.
liked was Darwin.
Yeah, it was so brutal when he died.
Yeah, I really liked Darwin. In
Yeah.
that. Yeah, not much to say about this movie other than it's really good. Like, I really like it. A lot of strengths to it. Really great score. Fantastic.
Excellent.
Soundtrack.
Yeah, we can maybe talk about some of the individual action scenes.
Yeah, sure.
So, Eric, the bar scene, you know, where he
Oh yeah.
kills the
It's
three
so
men.
tense. I love
It
it.
is tense, and Michael Fassbender. I don't know, the German language. It just seems so. Cut this out, please. I don't know where I'm going with it.
The German language.
I don't know where I was going with it.
I'm not editing that out. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite action scene for me is when he pulls the guy's tooth out. It's great.
Yeah.
No, that's not favorite action scene, but yeah.
Although I like every time I watch this, my DVD doesn't have the subtitles, so like I'm just lost in the parts where he's speaking German.
Yeah.
I have no idea what he's saying.
Favorite action scene for me is probably the end battle or
The assault on the CIA.
Assault on the
Do you
CIA
like
is
that?
pretty good, but I like the training montage, even though it's quite cliche, but
It's
I like
so
it.
weirdly edited. Like there's a lot of split screens and
There's a lot of split screens, and there's
weird
also
cuts.
like it cuts between Magneto trying to move a satellite dish to like Beast trying to run or something. It's weird.
yeah. And then oh yeah, let's talk about Shaw again. I mean, once again, it's another like weird villain with a weird plan.
Yeah.
You know, he just. I've written verbatim in my notes. Still a weird villain with a bad plan. Thinks that only humans will die in a nuclear war. Dash idiot. Because
yeah, he is.
his whole plan is to instigate the Cuban Missile Crisis to have America and Russia. Yeah, America and Russia,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Blow each other up so everyone is killed, except he thinks that all the mutants will be left standing. But I'm pretty sure Mystique, who is a shapeshifter, won't survive a nuclear explosion.
Yeah.
I don't know what his thought process was there.
I know. One thing I have to say about this movie: have you noticed Michael Fassbender's Irish accent in it? It's
Yeah,
so weird.
it is odd. It's yeah, I like him.
I like him. Oh, obviously, one of the most brutal bits in X-Men history is when like he puts the coin through
Yeah.
Shaw's head, which is fantastic.
And then obviously there's the significance of the helmet, because he takes the helmet from Shaw, just like he had, crumpled the helmets of the soldiers that killed his mother.
Yeah.
So,
I like
yeah,
that.
there's... I enjoy that symbolism.
I just really like this movie. Like, it's got a really nice 60s charm to it, a really nice aesthetic. Great to look at as well.
It is weird. Like, maybe I like the film because there's so much, like, weird, cringy moments. Because,
Yeah.
I've said this is my favorite film and then pointed out all these weird things about it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's creepy that, like, Charles erases Moira's memory with a kiss? Like, that's a bit creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That might be a reference to... Have you seen Superman 2?
No.
Of course you haven't. We can talk Superman 2 one day, but yeah, Clark erases Lois's memory with a kiss.
Oh, of course he does.
A classic Superman power.
Classic Kryptonians.
Yeah.
For me, out of 10, I rate this a 9. Like, I really love this movie. Great cast, great young X-Men, fantastic story, great visuals, and obviously the parts that we make fun of only make it better, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. Nine for me as well.
9 for you. What was the next film?
Days of Future
Past. Take us through that one, buddy.
So this is a return from Bryan Singer, unfortunately.
Yep.
First X-Men film he'd shot in about 12 years. I don't like it as much as everyone else does.
Do you?
No.
I don't think it's as good as First Class, but
No.
I think it's still good. Like, I like the time travel element of it. Like, this is gonna sound strange, but I wish all the movie was set in the future. Like, I don't like the time travel bits. I like
No, me
I like the
neither.
futuristic battles.
Like,
more.
I think instead of bringing the old cast into the past, they should have brought the new cast into the future
Yeah, definitely.
and
Yeah.
had them fighting alongside. I would rather that. Like, instead of them editing the timeline, they bring the old versions, like the more powerful ones, to the future to help them fight.
That would have been so cool. Plus, like,
I would have much
then you could
preferred
have
that.
like, it would have been the heartbreak of if the younger one dies, then the older one also dies. Like that would have been a pretty like if they kill off Fassbender in like a futuristic scene, that means obviously killing off McKellen. Like that would be like pretty emotional as well.
Yeah, and I mean the best parts of the film are the scenes set in the future.
Like the Sentinels are cool. Like they're like, I really like them. The ones in the past not so much. Like they're a bit strange. But I really like the futuristic ones. Although one criticism I have for that is that they said they get their powers from Mystique, but then Mystique has never shown any ability to absorb powers whatsoever. It's a strange one.
Yeah, they just go, well, we've got a DNA sample from a shapeshifter, so they can they can take any power they want.
Yeah. What do you think of them giving Wolverine more of a leadership role in this film? Do you like it?
I don't like it because he's great in his own films, except X-Men Origins.
Yeah.
But in every X-Men film, I just find the character so bland. I think, he has no interesting qualities when he's in the group. I think they really underutilize Hugh Jackman because he's excellent.
I think what they do really well is Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we've spoken about the comparison between MCU Quicksilver and which is obviously more comic accurate compared to Evan Peters' Quicksilver.
Yeah.
But I think Evan Peters' Quicksilver is more charismatic. And is like his scenes are the best in the film for me.
Yeah, I mean, Time and Bottle is an excellent song.
Such a great tune.
Were you surprised by that scene?
In what way?
Well, I mean, that scene wasn't in any of the trailers. Were you surprised that they gave Quicksilver kind of a lesser known character such a like the best scene in the film?
Yeah, I suppose in a certain degree I was, because like it wasn't a character I was expecting to be in the film, and it was a pleasant surprise to see that like he gets a time to shine really in the spotlight, and if you could argue, but yeah, I think Evan Peters is great. Nicholas Hoult is obviously great as a young beast.
Yeah.
What other criticisms would I have? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think Jennifer Lawrence is good in this film.
No.
And she's given the most to do.
Really, I think she has a very important role, but she's also barely in it. Like it's a weird mix of her like being really significant, but she's probably only in the film for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because I think she's only really in 3 or 4 scenes.
Who's the dude that plays Trask in this film?
Peter Dinklage.
He's great.
He is great.
He's fantastic in this. Fassbender as well is probably even better in this film.
Yeah.
The costume, I quite like the costume compared to the one in First Class, which is really bad.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to talk about like, oh that's awful, isn't it?
Eric, I believe, I prefer Magneto. Like that was quite cool. I like to be fair, but yeah, I love we never really talked about the First Class suits. I really like them.
I really like them too. And then they just didn't do them again.
The suits in Days of Future Past are okay, but then like,
well, they're kind of nothing.
They're kind of just like plastic bags. Some of them.
I don't even remember.
I
haven't seen the film in a while.
I don't know if you've seen the road cut. Have you?
Oh, I was about to ask you. I have not.
Oh,
have you?
Like, it's a really cool scene. Are you gonna watch it? Or have you seen the scenes from it?
I have not. Just lay it down.
There's a cool scene where like Magneto and Iceman go to rescue Rogue from the X-Mansion, and then Iceman gets killed, but like Rogue still got her powers or something, and then she has to take over for Kitty Pryde in the transference scene, I suppose you could call it. But like Anna Paquin's very good in this film.
Do you think it makes the film better?
Yeah, way better. I think like the scene in the X-Mansion is arguably my favorite scene in the film.
The one that wasn't in the final cut.
Yep.
That's
sad.
I really
like. Iceman's death is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we're talking about like funny deaths, Storm's death is quite hilarious. She just turns
I don't know why you find it so funny. She gets stabbed in the back, and every time you tell me about it, you laugh.
Yeah, it's great. Bishop in this film, pretty good. Warpath, pretty good.
Yeah.
Blink, pretty good. Like she's
okay.
Very good.
Sorry.
No, what?
Okay.
No,
I think Josh Hellman.
Who's he play again?
He's young. Striker.
He's
I think he's a very good young Danny Houston, but a very bad young Brian Cox. He looks nothing like Brian Cox, but he does look quite a bit like Danny Houston. So I respect that casting. Actually.
Any particular favorite or funny scenes in the film for you?
I like in the restored future that like Cyclops is still a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like he's still
Wolverine
like telling Wolverine not to bang his girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the film as well. Like when Logan wakes up and everything's okay again until it goes really bad in Logan. Like, but yeah, I think this film's great. Brings back the score from X2, which is good.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's good. What would you rate it out of 10, buddy?
I'd probably give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8. I think it's pretty good. I like the time travel element. I hope Avengers Endgame uses some of the same tropes that this film did.
I really hate time travel.
You do?
I hate time travel because it just makes everything. It just creates so many continuity errors.
Yeah, I suppose there's enough of them as well in this X-Men universe.
Yeah, I think they should have just kept the two trilogies completely separate. It would have created a lot less problems.
Yeah. Do you want to take us through X-Men Apocalypse?
Sure. Well, this film gets a lot of hate, and I don't really get it.
No, it's quite cool.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a bit messy structure-wise. But I mean, all the acting's good. You know, it seems quite faithful to the character of Apocalypse.
It's very comic accurate, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the Apocalypse design? Because I know that's a.
He's not as bulky and as big as I'd like him to be. Like
he doesn't have a big old fat head.
He doesn't have a bit like they don't really show him growing. I mean, they
Yeah.
do in a like mind telepathy sequence, but like I think he looks really cool, but just not as. I have a similar sort of opinion to that as Venom in Spider-Man 3. Like he looks really cool. He's just not big. Like he's just, you know. I really love the opening scene though in Egypt. I think it's great.
Yeah. I think it's good on. I think it's good on its own, but it doesn't really work very well in the film.
No, yeah.
Because it kind of seems like an awkward shift from that like 10-minute Egypt scene into the modern day.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then I think there were some complaints about the length because the film does seem really long.
It seems a lot longer than Days of Future Past, and I'm pretty sure Days of Future Past had a longer runtime.
I think they're both around 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. This film introduces a lot of characters. We've got Angel again.
Yeah.
Who's different from X-Men 3.
He's a much better casting than from
Yeah,
Last Stand.
He's in the actor who plays him is in Bohemian Rhapsody, if I'm not mistaken. I think.
Ben Hardy.
Ben Hardy's very good. Olivia Munn as Psylocke.
Yeah, it's Ben Hardy. Yeah.
Olivia Munn as Psylocke, and then we have who else? Well, obviously Fassbender's Magneto. Everyone else is back.
Alexander Shipp as Storm.
As Storm, fantastic.
She really good accent actually.
Yeah, very good accent. During that scene, the introduction of Alexander Shipp as Storm, we see like Apocalypse learns everything from humanity from the TV.
Although I kind of understand that.
Yeah, but like
you have to have him do it some way because he has to understand humanity, and it kind of makes sense that he would get it from television.
But then during that scene, there's a really funny like. No, it's not during this scene, but like you know the bit where he's called the nuclear weapons. And he's like, "No more weapons,
no more superpowers." Oh, it's so good. It's so good, man.
Yeah, I suppose it's got a nice charm to it.
Yeah, should we talk about his really weird choices of horsemen?
Yeah.
Because he could have had Wolverine or Cyclops or Jean Grey, but he chooses Psylocke and Storm.
I love that we've talked about this before, but I love the way it's like Angel battle armor, Magneto battle armor, Psylocke swimsuit.
Yeah, you know he gives. He gives Angel like metal wings, and then he's just like Psylocke, you know.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I should have some eye candy while I take down the world.
Yeah.
Like, should we talk? I mentioned Wolverine. Should we talk about his really weird cameo?
I really like it. I really love that scene. It's brutal. That's great.
Well, one, it's way too long. It's like 15 minutes long for that Wolverine scene.
Yeah, but I think I like it.
He's wearing like mid-length, like short trousers, and he has a mullet. And have you noticed in this film? Okay, there's Cyclops, there's Professor X, and now there's Wolverine. Why does everyone want to bone Jean?
Yeah,
she's like 17, and everyone's just.
Wolverine's like, I like me some of that.
Yeah, everyone's hitting on her. Like like Professor X sits on the edge of her bed and like strokes her hair.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, and then Wolverine just like stares into her eyes for 4 minutes. Yeah. And you can see Cyclops like getting really angry in the background. Yeah. That's hilarious.
I really love the Quicksilver scene again. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sweet Dreams.
I think the song is better. I prefer this song, but I don't prefer. I think the filming is worse.
The filming it looks a lot more fake. This is gonna sound strange, but it looks a lot more fake than the time in the bottle scene.
Like the CGI is worse, and it's cut together too quickly. There isn't enough time
Yeah.
to appreciate. Like that scene obviously revolves around the explosion at the X Mansion and Havoc's death. Do you care?
No, not really.
No.
It's I don't really care because it's so hilarious.
Yeah, it is funny. I think this is the least enthusiastic Mystique performance. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I think she just doesn't care anymore.
No,
she's
don't really
blue
care about the
for
character.
one scene, I think.
Yeah, it's not great. Nightcrawler in this film, great.
Yeah,
Very
Cody Smith McPhee.
Probably just as good as X2 Nightcrawler. in
Yeah,
my
I think
opinion.
so.
Maybe even better. Like he's very humorous depiction of the character.
That's probably my favorite young casting between any of the films.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I would agree with that.
What do you think of this cage fight scene? It's obviously significant because that's how we were introduced to Wolverine, and now we've been introduced.
It's
to
not the same cage fighting, is it?
No, but I think there was some intentional significance between introductions of important characters.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I really enjoyed it.
There's a brief cameo or Easter egg of the Blob in this scene.
Yeah.
Angel obviously is introduced in Nightcrawler. Fantastic, yeah, really like it. In terms of favourite scenes, Cal, what would you say is your favourite scene in the film?
I quite like when the Phoenix emerges at the end, in the end fight scene where she is the one to take down Apocalypse, obviously foreshadowing Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that. I thought the CGI was great. That was probably the biggest surprise of the film for me.
Effects or the Phoenix?
The Phoenix.
Yeah,
that was probably
I would agree with
very
that.
surprising.
My favourite scene is probably when Magneto destroys Auschwitz.
Oh yeah,
Fantastic
that is excellent actually. Yeah.
In terms of rating out of 10,
Well, just
Oh,
before
sorry,
that,
yeah.
what do you think of their costumes at the end?
costumes at the end, fantastic.
Yeah.
I really love them. I wish they would continue with them in Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm
I
sad.
don't know
I'm
if they
sad that
are, but
they're-
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are. I mean, I haven't watched the trailers, but I have seen a shot where they're just plain like yellow X's on their chests.
Which I like as well, but I prefer like the custom made
Yeah,
suits. Like they all look
Yeah.
like 90s X-Men animated series, which I love.
yeah, and then you obviously see the Sentinels again.
Oh yeah, great.
I just want to talk about some missed opportunities.
In the franchise or in this film in general?
I mean, in our concluding thoughts, we can talk about the whole franchise, but for this film specifically, I definitely think the post-credit scene should have had Mr. Sinister instead of just a briefcase
Yeah,
with his name on
I think
it.
a lot of people thought that was going to tie into Logan. It didn't really. I mean,
No.
not really.
Well, I guess what was the name of the
Alkali.
yeah, like that kind of was like a subsidiary of
Yeah.
Essex Corporation, I think.
Oh, it just seems like the X-Men franchise is like afraid to take risks. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't want to use costumes in the opening movies, and it just doesn't want to, it would prefer to retcon characters than explain things,
Yeah.
which I don't like. But in this movie, out of 10, I'd probably give it a 7. I don't think it's as bad as everyone else would make it out to be. Like I think it's
Yeah.
decent.
I'd probably give it an 8. I quite liked it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So do you want to conclude? On the
Well,
X-Men
we can
franchise?
just give our overall thoughts in
Yeah,
comparison to the original trilogy. I much preferred this trilogy.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
so much more.
Yeah, agreed. There's not a bad film in this prequel
No,
trilogy.
I don't think
We'll
so.
wait until Dark Phoenix is out. But
Yeah,
I think the original 3 are good, but the prequels are a next level above, in my opinion.
yeah. So concluding thoughts. Are you happy that X-Men's going to Disney?
Not really. Like I think they're starting to find their stride with the Deadpool films, Logan,
Yeah,
Apocalypse. Like they're good films, and I don't want to see them go because I love the junior castings, if you could call them that. But
yeah.
I think Faggy knows what he's doing, so I think if they were to introduce them in the MCU, it wouldn't be until 2025 at least, I think.
But still, oh, I'm gonna be so upset that we never got to see X-23 again.
Well, they might say like Logan was set in the future of the MCU or something, but that'll be strange.
That would be really weird.
Yeah, like I wouldn't really like that because it would feel like the MCU just claiming everything that's good out of the X-Men franchise. It would sort of make it feel less important, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think the franchise is really important in terms of superhero movies. Obviously, casting is fantastic. There's not one really member I can't make fun of or dislike, so that's a positive. Yeah, movies are all great. Soundtrack's great. Effects on the whole are decent. I really do love this franchise. Yeah.
Who would you say is the most inspired casting? I've got to give it to Patrick Stewart.
It's Patrick Stewart or McKellen
Yeah.
or Fassbender.
I find it so weird going back to the any animated series because Charles is always American.
It's so strange.
Because he's from Queens or no, he's from New York certainly, and
I think it's Westchester or something.
Well, that's where the X Mansion is, but I feel like he isn't from there.
Yeah.
But it's so foreign to hear him with an American
strange,
accent.
That's so strange. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say on that.
No, me neither. So that was those two trilogies. I thought that it would be good to get this out of the way before Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be doing something a little different, maybe a small mini review.
Yeah, of course.
Of Dark Phoenix itself. So that's all from me.
Yeah, so we've been trying to keep the episodes a little shorter. So 40-minute runtime for this one. We'd like to thank you very much for listening. We have a joy filming it, or recording this as always.
Yeah.
We're still on SoundCloud, so
maybe not for long.
Maybe not for long. Yeah.
It turns out you only get 3 free hours on SoundCloud, so it's been a bit problematic getting our content up.
Yeah, but we're still going to be uploading to YouTube every 2 weeks. Maybe a mini review in as an intermission of sorts.
From time to time, yeah.
From time to time. Yeah, so thanks for listening, guys, and be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on what you'd like to see us talk about, basically. So thanks very much for listening.
Bye, guys.